Alright guys, I'm going to talk a lot in this video, but at the same time just bear with me because I'm pretty sure there are going to be some tips that you can really use in your own business, even if it's not dumpsters, that could really help you out. Alright guys, sorry it's been a while, but life happens, and life has definitely happened to me lately. As you notice, I am not in the truck. I'm not delivering a dumpster. I'm not delivering a skid steer. I am in my wife's mom Jeep, and I'm headed to the gym, getting a little break time, but not my home gym. I'm actually not home. I probably won't be home for about a month. I had to kind of step away for a little while for personal reasons, but all is well. But it definitely has given me a chance to do something that I haven't, and that's working on the business. Everybody thinks they work on their business, but at the end of the day, when you're an owner-operator, you really don't get to as much as you think. What you're really doing is you're working in the business. And you guys have probably all heard this before if you're watching this video. You're curious about it, what the difference is, or you might already know, and you're just looking for some insight. But I will tell you, until you are absolutely forced to work on the business, it's a totally different thing. Because now that I am not home, or in my office, I'm, over 2 hours away from home where I would normally operate. I don't get to run the dumpsters anymore. I don't get to, drop off shipping containers. The only thing I get to do is take phone calls. So I'm essentially becoming a very good secretary, because at the end of the day, I can organize things for my driver very well, as in planning his routes. It's not just sporadic, go pick this up, go do this, go do that. I am very meticulous about what needs to be done and when, and in what order, and when it's okay to actually interrupt him throughout the day. I've also gotten really good at my customer service. My customer service has always been really well. I believe in it. I believe that is the one thing that differentiates me from most dumpster companies, is they have always been super rude, because there was only one or two options in town. They could treat you however they wanted. They could drop your dumpster off wherever they wanted and whenever they wanted, because again, they didn't have to be nice. They were the option. I believe my customer service has always stood out, and that's why I do well. But there is a point where when I'm working in the business, I'm the driver, I'm the secretary, I'm the bookkeeper, and I'm doing all these things at once. Things start to slip, and definitely customer service is one of them. And I don't mean that I'm rude to people, but I might not ask the right questions sometimes. What's going in the dumpster? How long do you need it? Sometimes it's just, okay, yeah, I can get you there. Well, I can get it to you here in like 3 hours. I'll be there. See you then. And now I can actually do really well at talking to the customers. You build a relationship with them. You ask them, what are you working on? Because there is such thing as question-based selling. And if you don't know anything about question-based selling, I highly suggest you do some research on it. There's some amazing books on it. And it can really open up some serious opportunities for you. Because just in the 2 or 3 days that I was working at the end of the week, I ended up landing multiple jobs that aren't just dumpsters. I had one commercial company reach out that is very far away. They are doing a demolition, and turns out they really don't want to do the demolition, because at the end of the day, it is a very small demolition. It's more of a junk removal project. From what I understand, a restaurant is being converted into another, leased space, and they just need everything gone. Everything is still left in this restaurant. We're talking, appliances, large, refrigerators, freezers, etc. And, booths, tables, kitchenware, all this stuff is still in there, and they don't even want it. They don't want to sell it. They just want it gone. So they asked me to put in a bid for it. And they also then said, follow up with what the dumpster rentals would cost for, when we come in to do the construction. So I threw in a bid for that. Something I normally never would have done, because I didn't have the time to do it in the moment. I'd almost talk myself out of it. I'd sell myself out. I'd just be like, this job isn't for me. We're slammed. And having a driver has changed my life in a huge way, because I can double time everything now, because I can actually work with him, and we could be done what normally would take me till 3 or 4 o'clock, I can have it done by noon. So it opens up a whole rest of the day for me to tackle some bigger projects and take on bigger projects like junk removal and, other, odd jobs. But while trying to make that more structured, I have found that I can ask these questions that lead to better opportunities. I called a guy right afterwards, and I said, hey man, I've got, a little bit of a delay on your dumpster tomorrow, and I was wondering if I could bring it to you today, so, we didn't have to bring it to you tomorrow. We'll give it to you for, a day for free. Don't worry about it. It'll be more convenient for us. You'd be doing us a favor. That conversation then led to him asking if he knew anybody that could tear down trailers. And I was like, yeah, we can. He's like, you know what? I thought so, but I couldn't remember if it was your company. So boom, we just briefly talked about it. Turns out he's a trailer park owner. He owns mobile home parks. Talk about reoccurring business. So I can do one job for him now, which he's already said, yeah, dude, just go ahead and do it. When you get back in town and everything's settled, I'd like you guys to take care of it. Easy. Now I have an in with somebody who's probably going to need that several times over the next couple of years, and that's just good business. So everything worked out in that way. So this is just a small point I'm trying to make, that you don't have to be in the business to work on the business. These are things I never would have taken on, and I am now opening up opportunities to make them happen. While I'm out of town, this is about the only thing I actually take the time to go do when I'm not busy. Thing that absolutely blew my mind, and this is just kind of a shout out to some of you guys who maybe decided to get into the dumpster business or the junk removal business after, seeing YouTubers do it, which I know there's a lot of controversy behind that, that we're saturating the market by making these videos. And I'm not even that popular of a person who puts out videos, but it is amazing to me the reach that YouTube has had, because I've talked to a lot of guys. I almost have to sometimes keep my conversation straight and look back, because I'm not sure sometimes who I'm talking to. But I absolutely do love seeing how much of an impact my YouTube page has made. And again, it's small, but I do feel like maybe it's providing the value that I never expected it would. And every time I go to a different town, and I've been here for a few days now, so I've had plenty of time, I actually will look at the websites and the advertising that other dumpster companies, do. And it was kind of funny to see that 2 or 3 of them in town had literal word for word like verbiage from my website. Layouts were very similar, and they even incorporated like the planning or the calendar system where somebody could actually book the dumpster, and they used the same program I did. Again, some of the exact same verbiage. So it's just, it's a compliment. Honestly, I'm not mad about it. It's really cool to see that my YouTube page has influenced some of you guys on how to build your business, and I think structure it better than some of the bigger companies have. Do some curls. Just kidding. All right, so another thing I've been working on while taking the time was actually redoing my website a little bit. And I actually really love my website, so I didn't want to mess with it too much, but there were things that needed to be done. I wanted to edit some of the verbiage, to include, as you see here, mobile storage. And also a lot of the photos I had before were, they're getting stale. They weren't really showing my business at its true potential, because it was when I first started. There's things I also wanted to do was check like the mobile aspect of it rather than just the desktop view. So I wanted to make sure that this looked good on mobile. I have it right now in the landscape view, and right off the bat I noticed I'm going to need to do some more editing, because I don't like how my phone number splits up there when it's on mobile. But right here, everything's in order. I have some other service offerings on here now that people can see. You can see I've got the mobile storage. And another part is, I like to see that it works in both views. This is just something that I never really took the time to do. I got it to a point where it looked nice, but I didn't mess with it. I didn't go pixel by pixel to make sure everything was lined up properly. And so I wanted to make sure that I took the time to do that. And so you can see now, before, my dumpsters were actually out of order. So it'd say like 14-yard dumpster, and then the way the mobile would structure it, all of a sudden the skid steer would show up, and then it would jump back to the 20-yard dumpster, and then to the attachments. Now I've got it in a nice cohesive order where, you can kind of follow the actual website pretty well. All the offerings match up as well. So the same with my online booking calendar. It used to be way out of order. You'd have skid steer attachments up at the top and people had to scroll all the way bottom for a dumpster rental, which is obviously my most popular. So I wanted to make this way more cohesive to the rest of the website, make sure that everything works the way it should, where somebody can still reserve. And, I've got all my branding on key. So there are a lot of things that I just, took the time to go back and edit. And I'm really happy where it's at now, how it performs. But if you're paying somebody to do these kinds of things, it's still okay to go check to see that they're up to your standards. And I don't mean just once every year. I mean like once every week. You should be checking in on that. And not only on that, let's say dumpster rentals, Quincy, Illinois. I want to see how am I performing there. I typed in Quincy, Illinois, but my Hannibal ads pop up. I do pay a couple dollars a day for ads, and I did actually make one that would target the Hannibal area because I am in the tri-state. So you'll see that it is a Missouri location, but I do business there and I'd like to do more. So you can kind of see, I also want to see how am I performing compared to my competitors? Am I still, ranking up top? Who are my new competitors? If you go forever without looking, you don't know who's going to pop up. You want to keep tabs on all these other companies that may be doing business in your area, and you need to see like how are they performing compared to you. You need to do some Facebook research on them. You need to do some Google research. And these ads right here, I might want to tweak this one because I don't want to type in dumpster rental Quincy, Illinois and my Hannibal one pop up. I want my Quincy ad to pop up. But this does give you an idea. I am 2 hours from home, so that does kind of play into how these ads are going to be displayed. But this is kind of where I want my business to be, and I'm taking the time to actually look at these things. Put it back in that landscape view so you can maybe see it a little bit better. But yeah, these are all very important to me. While we're still talking about this website, one thing I did just upload not too long ago was this right here, and this is something I can click. This is basically a landing page to my storage that I'm working on. We'll change the view a couple times here, but there you go. This is my new storage unit page where, we use these Connex boxes. We find some decent ones and we'll rent them out as mobile storage. Where this gray one's sitting right here, I actually have 2 of these containers sitting there now because the person sends me a check every month for 2 of them and she still has them. So I've been editing this so I can advertise, my trailer parking spaces that are out there, and they are very cheap, but this is a very, very small rural town that this place is in. People have a lot of options to just store it at a friend's house, and there is no fence, there is no gate, but they do just want a place to park, trailers, SUVs, project cars, semis. So I do offer a pretty cheap monthly payment for those. And until I, find myself, putting up a gate and stuff, it will probably stay that way for a while. But then we've got the mobile storage that I'm really going to push in 2023. That is a huge goal of mine. So you'll see I have 1 month or less options. I have per month, prices as well. And then I have a, at my storage lot fee that is much cheaper than any of the others. So in that case, this is a big service I want to push. There isn't a lot of this in my area, and I think this will be super beneficial for it. And again, I wanted to make sure this looked good and mobile, and in my opinion, it does. It's clean, it's direct, it's to the point, and we'll probably get to the point here in the next month or so where I make it so people can book this online as well. But right now, I was just building it, and I really do like how it looks. Lastly, something that you always need to be working on is your social media presence, and Facebook is no exception. It's not something that you should take lightly. Facebook, means a lot to people. They've got a lot of traffic there, and it's really easy to, that thing yelled in my ear, but this is something that is really important. You don't always want to be selling on Facebook. Don't just put your prices and your service. People can see that all over the place. That's really what your website's built for. Social media is simply to build a brand. I don't know how to tell people that enough. In any market, in any business, you should be using social media to push a brand, to build an experience. Let people follow your journey as a company. Do not use Facebook as a place to just dump prices and beg people essentially for their business. That is, it's not appropriate. It's always going to flop if you're always using your business just to push it. Yeah, you'll get a couple customers every once in a while, but it doesn't give people a connection. It doesn't let people connect to you. Coca-Cola doesn't go on national television or on social media to tell you how much their sale price is this weekend on a dumpster. They don't. It's not important. They build a brand, they build an experience. You need to embrace that. And like you can see here, I was working really hard before I left town on the Redneck Sleigh. That's something I do annually, and it's very important to me. I went on to, show people this awesome, junk removal project that we got to work on. A couple little jokes here and there, lightly used trailer, I know what I have. It's just, that's how I have structured my business social media wise, and it has worked really well for me. And I honestly think there's a reason for that, and it's because people don't want to see your prices here. They just want to feel like they know what's going on in your business. People are obsessed with other people's business. People are narcissistic and want to see what others are doing. That is basically what you're giving them. Another thing I'm doing is working to make my employee's life easier. And my driver, I rely on him for a lot of things. And being away from home, I have to learn to let things go, which is really hard for a lot of guys, because at the end of the day, you started this business or a business because you wanted to break away from the 9 to 5. You wanted to have some freedom. You wanted to own something that was yours. But then you find yourself working 12 hours a day, working twice as hard because the thing becomes your baby. And you care about the work more because it's yours, but you're then losing exactly what you were trying to gain, which was a little bit of freedom and a little bit more time. And I don't want to burden an employee with that. I'm not trying to literally just make my problem his problem, but it gives me a chance to help develop a program that works for both of us, where I can make his life easy, he can make my life easy, and we can do really cool projects by getting some of the more annoying things out of the way, like just driving or picking up and emptying dumpsters. But I do need to focus on making sure that, he's got something that he can easily track his hours with. He's got something that he can easily get fuel with when he doesn't have my credit card, or whether that's an app or whatever it is, because there's certain places that I will get fuel and certain places I will not, because I don't want to waste the money. And if you have anything to do with DOT or IFTA, if you're crossing state lines, if you're over 26,000 pounds, there are certain regulations that you want to kind of stay on top of. And while being in the business, it's hard to make sure you're 100% legal. It really is. But when you can step away and you have an employee, you definitely want to make sure you're legal, because the last thing you want to hear is he got pulled over and he's getting asked 50 million questions that he doesn't have answers to. You want to make sure that your insurance is in the right place. A lot of guys get into a business like this and are blown away afterwards by what the insurance cost. But if you're doing enough business, the insurance cost, it doesn't matter. So you do need to make sure that these things are taken care of. DOT is a huge one, and I can take the time to make sure, I've got the proper IFTA taxes filed for the year. I've got drug tests. I've got all of the documented insurance papers I need, all taken care of, paid on time, and everything is running smooth, which then opens up more opportunity for other jobs when I am completely legal in those aspects and can take those things on across state lines, or because the stuff is heavier, or because I'm going to be doing a lot of business in a particular area, or hauling of some sort. So there are a lot of things that you can really focus on during this time. And again, when you're paying people to do these things, it doesn't mean that it's being done right. You need to double check them, especially if somebody's trying to pitch you, I'm going to build your website and I'm going to run SEO and it's going to cost you, only $300 a month, and we're going to generate so much business for you. Check in on that, because I used to work in marketing where they would sell those things, and SEO, it's not all it's meant to be. And actually, I take that back. SEO is incredibly important. But not every company that says they do SEO work for you really do SEO work for you. They can't just put, words into a website that just magically make you appear top on Google. And you're competing with the biggest companies in the country for keywords. And it's just not how it works. So you need to make sure these companies are taking care of you. And if they're not, boot them to the curb, learn how to do it yourself, or find somebody who actually can perform. It's super simple. That's it. Your business now, When you get to this point where you are not always driving and somebody else is helping you, your business is to find more business and to make your coworkers or your employees, they really are just coworkers, let's just be honest. Your business is to make their life easier and for you to get more business. That's it. And to properly advertise yourself and market yourself to your community so that they actually know you exist at all. I hope this is helping somebody. I hope this is just like getting ingrained into your skull. You did this for a reason. You started a company, landscaping, dumpsters, hauling, I don't know, dump trucks, whoever you are that watches my channel. You did this for a reason. You're trying to grow. You're trying to get to that point where like, I want to go all in. And here's the deal. Eventually you have to make the jump. You have to step away from the comfort zone of having that backup job that makes this a side hustle. You have to walk away from that, make the jump, and then survive off of what you're doing. But you're not going to do that if you always have that fallback job. If you always have that fallback job, you'll never go 100% into this business. But if you go 100% into this business, you better be hungry and you better be ready to survive. And these are things you can do. And I know this is, stages. You quit your job, you work in the business full time. You learn your business, you learn how to do it really, really well. And I mean really well. And then once you're turning away business because you can no longer keep up with it yourself, you need to look at what equipment do I need to make my life easier, to make this more efficient, and then who do I need to hire so that I can double time this and make it easier for myself and for that person, and I can take on more work. I hope this is helping somebody, but I've had a very large awakening. My family is growing. I'm welcoming a little one into the world here soon, and at the end of the day, I want to be able to spend time with her. This is the reason I quit my job and started my own business, was because that is what I wanted. But I find myself so invested in my business and so hard to let things go to give to other people that I'm spending all my time in the business. But by stepping out, I can actually grow my business more, still get to work in it and enjoy some of the things that come with that. But I can grow the business, make it something I'm very proud of, and still be home at a decent time and can separate myself so I can spend time with those that I care about. So I hope you guys found this video valuable. I know I literally ranted. You didn't get to see anything that I broke this week, anything that I tore up. You didn't get to see anything that, destroyed. And, it's not a sexy video. But I hope it helps one of you guys. Let me know in the comments what you're up to, what you found in this business to be the hardest, most challenging, or what you're doing that just started to separate you from the pack. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Like, subscribe, and I hope you followed the channel by now. So best of luck all.